Alright, so this is a follow-up to an old video I did a few months back talking about the Wideband 2 module and the Power Commander 5. And I had the bike for a few more months now since I had these modules put in or these units installed, and at first I wasn't very excited about what they were doing. I knew that the bike was running a little smoother, but it didn't seem like it was like, more powerful or anything like that. But now, after having it for a little while, that definitely is the case. It has increased power. I can tell, like, all around. It just seems like a better bike. It's more spunkier and more fun to ride. And I'll get back to that in a second. First things first. There's a little light upgrade I did since the last video. I put a higher quality bulb in. It's just definitely brighter. There's your low beam and high beam. This is the second one here is the high beam. Obviously it's daytime, you can't really tell, but trust me, it is much brighter. It gives a better angle too. It's just wider. I can see on the side of the roads. I see deer. I live in a neighborhood with a lot of deer, if you saw my last video. So you can also see the seat no longer has a burn hole in it. I got a brand new seat off eBay. It's actually an OEM Honda Grom seat. So I replaced it for about 40 bucks shipped. So that's pretty nice. The exhaust makes this come out on the side. It wipes off, no big deal, but it's because it's not actually welded on. Just to show you what the Taiga exhaust will do, but it is a nice exhaust. Alright, let's go for a little ride. Alright, so just to talk about this, the Power Commander 5 and the Wideband 2, I know that most people that watched that video, my first one, were interested in knowing what it would do and if it was worth it to them to buy it, or for them to buy it, to spend the money to do it. And at first I was like, maybe, if you have some money to play with, you feel like throwing some money away, it might be worth it to do this. And if you want your bike to run more healthy, yeah, do this. This is great. I didn't see right away any power gains. It didn't really change much at all. I mean, it sounded a little different. The engine ran a little different. I could tell that was going on. But it really didn't impress me that much. I could tell that I wasn't going to be so very happy, I guess, about my purchase, that I was just might have had a little bit of buyer's remorse. However, with that being said, it's been a few months since I made that video and since I've installed these upgrades, and I've also had a new oil change too. My second oil change at 2,500 miles, where I actually switched over to synthetic oil, full synthetic, which also made a huge difference. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but the oil change, I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm saying that synthetic oil actually made that big of a difference, but it totally did. The engine runs much more smoother. I can tell that my gear shifts are a little smoother. There's less rattling noises coming from the engine. That could just be from oil change in general, but we'll see as I go into the next one here in a couple more thousand miles. I had to stop there for a second to get some gas. As you can see now, I got a full tank. Going down a big old hill here in Austin, probably my favorite hill to ride down. I also went a little far past it because I thought this car right here was going to pull out in front of me, but anyways. About to get on one of my favorite roads to ride here in Austin. It's real short road, but it takes about, if I'm cruising through it, I can probably do it in 5 minutes. If I'm hauling, I mean. But if I'm going normal speed, it takes about 7 to 10 minutes. Anyways, yeah. So I feel like the Power Commander 5 is definitely a great buy. After having it for a few months, I can totally tell the bike is running like way more active. It seems like it's just way spunkier. It's faster. My gas mileage seems to have improved. Maybe not, but I haven't been like actually measuring it and keeping track. But it seems like my fill-ups are more spaced apart now. Like I said, I don't keep track of it, but it definitely seems like I'm not filling up as much. Take it as a grain of salt. I'm not saying you're going to get better gas mileage here, but it definitely seems like I am. Let's see. So a couple of people have asked me in the last video, do you need the Wideband 2 module? And I actually disconnected it a few weeks ago just to see what the difference would be, and it's a tremendous difference. Getting off the line is really, I think, what that's affecting. It's the closed loop is what they call it. I don't really know too much about what that means, but I know that without that, the Power Commander 5 doesn't affect that area of the power band, which is like the first few thousand RPMs. It kicks in like pretty late, actually. So you're not getting to control, in my opinion, one of the most fun parts of the power band, the beginning of it, where you're taking off and you're trying to come from a complete stop to, get cruising, basically. Those bikers, there's a couple of them I saw today, and they they weren't too happy with me driving down the road for some reason. I guess my exhaust is too loud. As you can see, I obviously have the sound muted, but I guess it's loud. But it's good. It's safer. No one is going to run me off the road. As you can see, this road's really good for the Grom. It's a winding road. It's covered with trees. There are a lot of these like little low water crossing things that where it goes across the river. So it's kind of freaky because people will just stop there when I'm coming around a corner and they're like looking down the river. And obviously I can't tell. Another upset biker right there. I can't tell, but because I'm coming around the corner and then I slam my brakes on. So I think I could do this road here really fast and safely if I knew that no one else was on it, or I knew that people weren't going to be stopping on it. Like right here is a good example, and there's a couple turns the same way. There's just a river crossing right after a turn. But anyways, back to the reason we're all here. I think that if you have the money to spend, you can probably get both of these for around $500 to $600, and you will not be upset with your purchase. You will be satisfied. Like I said, the Wideband 2 is going to basically get your low end, and the Power Commander is going to get your mid to high end. And you do not need the Wideband 2. You just don't need it. You can go with the Power Commander 5, get your high end. Your bike will run healthier. Just remember, you're not going to be affecting the low end. Hopefully that answers some questions that some people have had about this. But once I took it off, like I said, and ran the bike without the Wideband 2 for maybe an hour, I rode it around, there's a tremendous difference. The bike is just not the same without it. I don't think that I would ever, if I ever get another fuel injected bike, I'm going to do both these things to it every time, unless the Power Commander that's for that bike will work for the whole entire power band, because it's a noticeable difference. You do have to drill into the header. I think I showed you guys that in the last video, so take a look at that if you haven't watched the first one of this. But you do have to drill into the header, and you have to weld a bung on there, as they call it, to attach the O2 sensor. It's actually not that difficult. I actually could probably do it myself. I just don't have a welding machine, so I took it to a guy who did it for I think he did it for like $10 because he thinks he messed up and it didn't look so pretty. But honestly, after I got home and sand and ground it down, it looked totally fine. I don't know what his deal was, but hey, I'll take a $10 welding job any day. A couple more things about the bike. I've had some people offer some opinions about like what to change, handlebars, mirrors, the reflectors on the sides of the front spokes or front shocks, excuse me. All these things are obviously in my mind too. But when it comes to money, even though I'm talking about spending $600 here on just some things to make a little scrawny bike go faster, I am kind of one of those people that does my research pretty heavily. So looking into mirrors, looking into bars, and I just want to make sure I get the best bang for my buck. I've bought some nice ones like Arlen Ness mirrors for my actual last motorcycle that I had, and they weren't really that nice. At first they were, and they just kind of started falling apart, it seems like, in the end. So I'm going to make sure I get the right one this time. So throw some ideas down in the comments if you guys have any good mirrors or bars that you've done yourself. But again, if you're gonna spend some money, if you're okay with spending some money, go for it. These things will make the bike a better bike. Like I said in the first video, it's gonna run healthier, so that's a plus. And then it's actually also going to run a little spunkier. You're going to have a better running bike. Now it's not going to be an R6 or anything, but you're going to have a better Grom. It's like Grom version 2. So hopefully Honda makes some changes on these things in the future, and the next year's Grom or the next one maybe has some performance enhancements on it. I've looked at some things like the turbochargers for them, and the price is atrocious on those. And plus, if you do it, you got to get a big bore kit, and that actually might be in my near future. I might do the 183 big bore kit. I think that the bike can handle the speeds. It corners so well. I think it's made to go faster than it can. It's just they have a certain market that wants these bikes. Younger kids, intro level, beginners, all that stuff. But that brings up a whole new point too. These bikes, are they really meant for a beginner? I mean, if you have one of these and you've driven it around and you also had motorcycles, I've had a couple different bikes in the past. This thing, I don't think it's a good beginner bike, honestly. Sure, it's a small engine, a 125cc, but what comes with a bike with a big engine, what comes with a big engine is that you have the ability to maneuver out of the way of things. If a car pulls out in front of you on this thing, you got to slam your brakes on and swerve. But if you have a big engine, you can gas it and get around them, and the bike's not going to pancake on you. You're not going to have as many issues as you would with a small bike like this. I think that comes in so handy for beginners to be able to move out of the way of things using the power of the bike. So, some food for thought. Maybe if you haven't bought one yet, maybe test drive one. I don't know if places are letting you guys do that yet because these things are kind of hard to get. But if you can, test drive it, and then maybe test drive a little bigger bike too, like a 300. I know a lot of 300s are coming out right now. To see which one you feel more comfortable on. This thing is tiny, and I don't know if I've ever said this in any of my videos. The only reason I had this thing now is that it was a compromise between my lady and I. She didn't like me riding the motorcycle. She thought that I was driving around dangerously or whatever. Well, I really wasn't. I thought I was actually, I think I'm a very good driver, but she just has her worries. So I compromised and got a smaller bike. It's kind of considered a scooter if you look at it, even though it really isn't because it's got a clutch and everything. But this is what we came down to, and I'm glad. It's probably my favorite bike I've ever owned, honestly. Even though I've had some bigger bikes and some fancier ones and some custom things that I've done, this is probably the best, in my opinion, that I've ever had. It's the most fun to ride. It's the most fun to kind of customize, and it's cheap. It's cheap to operate. The oil changes are cheap. No filters. Gas is super cheap for this. It's $3 to fill it up or something like that, if even. Anyways, I can go on and on. The whole thing is you're going to get a performance increase, and I know that a lot of people have been waiting for me to talk about this again since it's been a couple months into the last video. Go ahead and do it. If you have the money to spend, get it. You're going to enjoy having the more power on the bike and the bike being more responsive. And that's another thing too. I've noticed that the throttle is more responsive. Now, this could be just because of the air intake and the exhaust system, which I have both on there as well, that's the first thing you do if you didn't already think about doing that or I've already done it. Get a cold air intake and a better exhaust, a full exhaust. Don't just don't do a, what's it called, just the can. You want the whole full exhaust system, the header and everything. It's going to make a difference, I promise, and you will be very satisfied. It's going to sound better. It's going to run smoother. You're going to get better gas mileage. Supposedly, you might get worse gas mileage, but grain of salt that one as well. But you're going to have a better breathing bike. It's going to be healthier, and the bike's going to run. It's going to run and operate much better. Then adding these two things to it, the Wideband 2 and the Power Commander 5, that's just going to ice the cake for you. So I guess what I'm doing here is I am negating the things that I have said in the past in the first video. I was like, I was kind of back and forth, don't maybe do this, do something else. But I think that these are very good products. DynoJet did a good job, and they're always upgradable, so people will make better maps. I've tweaked my maps a little bit. I downloaded them from a company called Hard Racing where I bought everything, but for the most part, they're pretty good. Anyways, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Thanks for watching and riding along with me here on this little trip. Please like, subscribe, and then leave your comments in the comment section. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Take care.